So this is two big egos in a small car. That's not you, Dean, and that's welcome to join us this evening. We're speaking tonight to Kim Hopkins, film director, and Dean. Full name. Should we give the full name, Dean?
Yes, you can do. Yes,
Dean Michael Betteridge, full name,
that's me.
and
That's
38
me.
years of Black Lace. And Kim, just the background to Kim is a filmmaker who has done films exploring working class communities and resilience. And I think that very strongly comes through in this new film called Still Pushing Pineapples. And it's going to be playing in York at City Screen. And I think it's doing a tour at the moment, isn't it? So
it starts on Friday. Yeah, we're doing our pre-release at the moment. We started in Bradford last Friday, on the 14th, and did a gala premiere there, in Pitcherville. And on Tuesday we're in BAFTA. Wednesday in Dockhouse in London.
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday Derby. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I think. And then it goes on its kind of nationwide tour.
Yeah, including City Screen.
Including City Screen, which is on the 7th of December.
Splendid.
So that's on a Sunday. Good evening. Yeah.
Yes. So will you, Kim and Dean, will you attend the screenings? Is that how that will work?
Excellent. Yes. Most of them I'll be there.
Yeah.
Kim and Margaretta will be there. Every one of them, I think. But I'm doing the selected ones where I can get there with the other work commitments and things. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, welcome and good evening, both. Graham, I'll hand to you for initial questions, please, Graham.
Well, I'm still recovering from watching the film. It's an amazing film. And, 1 minute I'm sad, next minute I'm happy. 1 minute I'm laughing, next minute I'm getting a bit alarmed. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen that in no way is pretentious, which captures the strange nature of fame and success. And in the film, what's particularly good about it is that the success of Black Lace sort of flits in and out of the film like a ghost. It's got a very ghostly atmosphere to success and fame. Like it's something intangible you can't actually tie down. And that's really skillfully done amid all the massive real life.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the, particularly right at the front, what we were trying to kind of convey there. I was really not, after I did my research and I saw that there'd been many, many iterations of Black Lace over the ages. I also found that Alan had already died, and Colin, the other band member, when they were a duo, had some issues around him, of which I found quite difficult maybe to make him one of the central characters of the film. And so I looked to Dean to kind of tell this story, as Dean really is the kind of, the only surviving member from that 80s.
Also very likable, which helps.
Yes. Absolutely.
How did you approach Dean then, Kim? How did that come about?
I basically, I just finished a bunch of amateurs that had done very well for us, and then
that got shown in Harrogate by Harrogate Film Society.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes, yeah. I remember that. It was a really lovely screening, and that did very well for us. It got a couple of Grierson nominations. It got shortlisted on the BAFTAs, which was the only British doc that did that, and it did quite a lot of cinema venues, and so I was looking for something to kind of follow up on that, as I'm kind of making this trilogy on these working class stories, and there was lots of these kind of what they call IP films around, or films that intellectual property films, and for the layperson that means that basically, I don't know, fairly recently, the one about Beckham, that is made by his own production company, and as a documentary filmmaker, that's a no-go area for me. You need independence, you need editorial, and
that's just PR. The Beckham thing's just PR.
We used to call them EPKs back in the day, and now they're just very long, very expensive, very glamorous EPKs. and I kind of wanted to do you kind of one in the eye on those that were happening, and I thought, which estate could I get to? And I'm pretty sure I couldn't get to Madonna's or Taylor Swift's or
there you go, Dean.
or anything. And then, whoa, who can I get to? What was that 80s band? I remember had that terrible song in the 80s, and I thought, Black Lace.
I used to curse that song on Top of the Pops. I was always going, please bring the Smiths on. Then it'd be bloody Black Lace.
Absolutely, I had the same feeling. Sorry, Dean. We know.
No problem.
I had the same feeling about it. I was, Susie and the Banshees, and then I kind of more into the punk thing, and then as I got older, I went into Dylan and Van Morrison and Leonard Cohen and blah blah blah. So Black Lace really wasn't my cup of tea whatsoever. However, I did really, Agadoo was it was just everywhere, and it just kind of, it was like that kind of thing that you can't flush down the toilet, it just
more than a million copies. It was bigger than Taylor Swift at the time. Mind you, Taylor Swift was about 2 years old at the time, so that explains it.
Yeah, I mean, Agadoo was kept off the #1 slot by George Michael's Careless Whisper. I would argue that Agadoo, particularly in Britain, it's just stayed with us for longer.
I think Dean could have sung George Michael songs, but George Michael couldn't have sung Dean songs. That's my argument.
What do you reckon, Dean?
Well, I used to sing George Michael songs, to be honest. And when Careless Whisper was out, I did a cover of it, and it was a very popular song, and it's a good one, really, to keep us off #1, I suppose.
Yes,
if any song could, that was one of the best ones that could ever be.
I know it's one of your mum's favourites, isn't it?
Yeah, Mum loves that one. Yeah.
So, Kim, you contacted Dean.
Yeah. So after I kind of remembered what song this was, that was in somewhere in my memory. Of course, I asked Alexa to play it, and it all came flooding back. I then contacted Dean. I did a bit of research. Contacted Dean. I invited him to the Bradford premiere of A Bunch of Amateurs. So he could see the type of work that I was doing. Dean really loved the film, and he liked the type of work, and we met up in a pub outside Leeds, and we had a good chat about it. And I said, look, the only way I'm going to do this is you have to let me completely into your life, and whatever happens. And then that was it for the next 2.5 years. Basically.
Yeah, because it wasn't
2.5 years.
Yeah.
So Dean, right. You said yes to it as a project. I mean, to use that description, warts and all. This is remarkably warts and all.
Yeah,
there is everything in this film.
It has high production values, though. It doesn't look warts and all. It looks really good.
I agree with that, Graham. But in terms of content and the honesty of content in this. Nothing's held back. I mean, we see Dean. I'm not sure what that routine was involving. What was it? Fat reduction or something? That one, for example.
it was there's a name for it. I can't remember the name for it now. But
fat freezing.
Yeah,
what the hell does that mean? Fat freezing. It just means it stops wobbling for a while. What?
I was trying to lose weight, and
so Dean had met Hayley.
That's what it was.
That's what you do in the flush of a new relationship.
So that's why I went there. But none of it.
So nothing was kind of off the radar. Nothing. It was
No, even when Mum was poorly, Mum was really ill in some of the filming. And Kim asked Mum, didn't you, Kim, if you could carry on filming if anything happened or anything?
Yeah, that moment on the phone in that image of your mum suddenly from, how different she looked in the hospital bed. Yeah. It was moments like that. That's interesting, Kim, again, as a director, choosing such moments. And that's what, as Graham said, there are moments that just keep shocking you in some ways. We'll come on to the big one about, Black Lace and what happened suddenly to the name of Black Lace, etc. But we'll come on to that.
Yeah.
So, Dean, from that point of view, did you just get used to it? Did you just get used to a camera then? Was that just, that was...
Yeah, a funny story here. When we were filming, yes, the camera was there all the time. And for, like Kim said, 2.5 years, nearly 3 years. And we got used to it. Hayley and I got used to it. I was quite used to a camera being there because I've done lots of reality TV.
Of course.
But Mum, this funny story. Mum, Kim and Margaret said to my mum, "Just pretend we're not here. Just ignore us. We're not here." And you tell the story then, Kim, from this.
So mum would then, after every time I filmed with mum, and she'd say, just ignore us, just pretend we're not here, and just let us film. And then after a while, she would go, "Do the two people who are not here would like a cup of tea?" So she would always undercut that process. But basically, what happens is we are like doctors on call.
Yes.
And so we're there a lot. And we film, 2-3 days a week, every week, as I said, for 2.5 years. That's how you get that intimacy. You're there when stuff happens, or you hope to be there when stuff happens.
Yeah.
Graham.
There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust there because the film is in the editing, the story's in the editing. So the way you cut that film after 2.5 years would directly affect how it made Dene look to the audience.
Absolutely.
So Dene must have trusted you, Kim, to do a great thing.
Like I said, I showed him a bunch of amateurs and he saw the type of work we do. We do kind of have a motto here at Labour of Love Films, is that we always try to be kind in things. When it comes to, I don't know, vanity and things like that, that doesn't get cut. We always show our contributors cuts of the film, let them have a look, let them have there's some kind of process where they suggest things. And so it's a kind of quite a fairly collaborative process. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to trust. Trust, like with friendship, it's built over a period of time. There is just no shortcut to it.
No.
Yeah. Exactly. And there was that trust there with Kim and Margaret. That, like Kim said there, the way that they can edit it sometimes doesn't show you in a good light, but I had every confidence that Kim would do a great job, which she has.
I think what came through with
quite moving because on the surface it's a film solely focused in this order on Dene and his mum and his partner in Black Lace, but the film's actually quite a deep exploration of what fame and success is and what people do to be famous, successful, and then it's also an exploration of British working class culture, and then it's also in some ways a presentation of how Britain has changed and in some ways disappearing, and it achieves all that without ever having. It's got a narrative but no narration, so it's a really skillfully thought out piece.
Thank you so much. That's exactly the intention of the film, and particularly with the subtext of a kind of a fragmented Britain, a fading Britain. We have, I think when you get out to some of the areas that Dene's fan base is, and into the areas like Blackpool and Skegness, and those areas, you really do see, and even then, I was trying to be kind to those cities. I just couldn't. I just had to be honest as well about what was happening there. You go one back street off their Golden Mile, and you have boarded up shops and boarded up, and these communities are being let down. They really are, and that was the subtext I wanted to show in the film as well. And if you go there, the last thing that. If you've been in a kind of rubbish job all your life, or you're retired, or you've got various ailments that comes with living a fairly impoverished life, and you want to go to somewhere like the Lindeen and Blackpool and spend your weekend just dancing to Agadoo. That's what people want to do.
Yeah, but that's what they did in Billy Liar. Billy Liar, 63 in Bradford. They're all dancing to pop hits, and they're all getting drunk, and they're all doing the usual things. Nothing's changed working class culture except Britain's got poorer.
Absolutely,
that's all that's really happened.
Yeah.
So the context has changed. But I thought it was great because it wasn't some middle class person talking down to working class people. It wasn't like there was no agenda from someone as an outsider who didn't understand what was going on and was portraying it in a way that they didn't quite get it. It seemed like you entirely understood This is just reality, nothing else.
But I mean, you know, I went to a shitty comprehensive school in the 1970s. You know, outside of Selby. You know, like I you know, this is the people I know. And yes, I was fortunate enough to move away and get into making films and things. But you know, these are my people. This is what I understand, and I also feel, you know, with the kind of, you know, the culture wars that are happening these days, that particularly middle-aged white blokes are getting a pretty rough deal sometimes. You know, not everybody is a fascist just because they're a middle-aged white bloke who don't agree with the status quo. You know, who feel let down by the system, and then they are being let down by the system, in my opinion.
Kim, growing up around Selby, because it was a mining community at the time, a very strong.
Even before then, it was the mills, you know.
And before that, it was the mills. It's interesting when you drive into Selby now, you pass still that massive empty mill.
That's when we had our person who used to come to say what job did you want when you left school. That's where you were sent. That mill was the one that scooped up all the people from that comprehensive school.
And then the mines, which was Europe's most advanced mine, when it closed.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that working class culture, which again, you know, you experience and you've seen, and it's interesting. I mean, you know, to call. I mean, there are obviously clubs. We mentioned Blackpool or whatever, but Agadoo and the Black Lace world is seen as working class music, working class clubs, etc. It's absolutely a sign of that, and it's interesting that I think, for all the fact that you know, it's a song that gets disparaged. On the other hand, people still want to dance to that song. There was a moment where Dene's doing the new songs or doing cover version songs, not coming onto the dance floor, Dene.
Exactly.
Then do Agadoo, and they come onto the dance floor. How did you feel in that moment?
Well, I wanted to sort of have a go, because I was originally brought up on soul music. That was my apprenticeship, if you like. And that's what I used to sing from starting off, you know, in soul bands and things. And I wanted to go back at one time and try and just get away from the Agadoo thing and try something new. I did a program called The Voice UK for the BBC. They featured me on there, and I did a soul song on there, went back to my roots. And did a song called Never Give Up on a Good Thing. And which was, you know, but it never sort of worked when I was doing live performances. People always wanted Agadoo, the Music Man, do the conga, the okey cokey. And then I realized when Kim was filming me, and we were doing that scene in the church hall thing at Christmas, and it was like, okay. Okay, as soon as I do Agadoo, everybody gets up, smiles on the faces, and I'm from the stage, when I'm looking at my audience, I can see they're all happy, they're all dancing away, and you know, it's I thought, well, that's it. Agadoo for the rest of my life, I think.
But there is a decoder right at the front of the film where we have the Mick Jagger quote. Yes. He said, if I'm still singing Satisfaction when I'm 45, I'd rather be dead.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, you know, singing Satisfaction at 45 doesn't seem too, you know, hard a word, but what's it like singing Agadoo at 68?
I think he meant I'd rather be dead rich. That's what he meant.
Maybe. Very good, Graham. Very good.
Yeah.
But the thing about fame, though, that came across.
Now.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that's how I feel now. Everywhere I play now, they want the party hits. It's like New Year's Eve every night when I play now.
Yes.
So you know, and I've come to understand that now. So I still do the odd nice song here and there, you know, and different things, but I always keep the Agadoo in and everything.
Absolutely, Graham.
There's a bit in the film where it seems that yourself, Dene, wants to like get away from Black Lace and sing different songs and some of your own songs, and your partner doesn't quite get that. But then there's another moment where your partner doesn't quite get the fact that you'll do anything to remain successful. Almost like it's like, you know, that fame's a Faustian pact where you have to be at success's beck and call. You don't choose how to address fame and how to come to success. You either take on its terms or you're not going to be successful. And you seem to know that in the film.
I think it's experience through the years of me doing this job. I mean, I've been doing it since I was 15. And like I said, you do your apprenticeship in the working men's clubs and the social clubs. That's what you did back in the 70s when I first started professionally singing. And you know, I feel sorry for these youngsters now that are coming into the business. There's nowhere for them now because we showed the decline in the audiences in the clubs and everything, and now the social clubs are all
closing,
all closing, and pubs as well. You know, it's sad really to see. I could do 7 nights a week, touring the clubs as with the band, and you know, no problem at all. But now you're lucky if you get one night really on a Saturday night where they have entertainment. I did a gig last night, and they only have entertainment once a month when they used to have it 7 nights a week. You know, it's just it's not good.
Yeah.
When you sing "This Is the Moment," which isn't a Black Lace song.
No.
It's a great piece of singing. It reminds me that, because we've both, Charles himself have both at different times interviewed Tony Christie, the great Sheffield singer.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that if you'd never joined Black Lace, you would have been Tony Christie.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I know Tony is a great guy. He's got a great voice, and he is that party man, isn't he, as well? He does a big party song. And Russ Abbott, he did the Atmosphere song. That was a good one. You know, I probably sing songs like that, I would have thought still, but you know, but I was very fortunate really in the 80s to be asked to join Black Lace, and I've just sort of gone with it, you know, it's all just gone as good as I can, really.
But Dean, it's not just fortune. You say yes to things.
I do. Yes, yeah.
You know, you say yes to things, and you know, some things work out, some things don't work out.
Yeah.
And you know, you said yes to the filming. You know, that now means you have a feature film about you.
Yeah. And how many people get the opportunity to have that, you know?
So I think that is your superpower, that saying yes and then taking the consequences. You know, if it doesn't work out.
Kim, there are moments which you think, I can't believe this has just happened. I knew, for example, the Bentley was going to turn out to be a car that was going to need loads of repairs.
So did I.
No, that's why I was asking that, because I think there are certain things that must have happened within the film. I thought, this is a godsend to some extent. And I don't mean that against Dene at all.
No.
Dean, it's kind of partly there. You know, even the tattoo on the arm that Hayley has. I mean, there's things that happen in this film, you know?
Yeah.
But
I've never had a tattoo, and I've got one there. Look, on
there it is.
With the Bentley, you know, I mean, you know, by that time I got to know Dene, and part of Dene's nature is Dene's got a very trusting nature. And that's also, I think, a superpower. I mean, I think it can get exploited, and I'm sure it has been.
Yeah.
But you know, when Dene and again, part of the kind of flush of a new love, you know, getting a big flashy new car is part of that, as well as liposuction. And Hayley's a bit of a petrol head as well. And when Dene showed me this car was it on eBay, or did you find it or something like that? Or
I can't remember now.
I think it was eBay. I think you showed me a picture of it, and I thought, yes, I know where this is going to go.
I love the moment where, Dene, you're saying, oh yeah, it might do 8 to the gallon in the middle of town. I'm thinking, what the hell possesses anyone to buy a car like that?
I used to live in Spain at one point, and I had a Rolls Royce when I was in Spain, and but I wasn't doing the mileage that I do over here.
Again, the Rolls Royce will only do 12 miles to the gallon at the most.
Yeah. Similar engine, you know. It's
of course.
Engine. Yeah. But you know, I used it just to go around into Benidorm and back out to my villa in Albia, and that was it. So it didn't really matter then, and petrol was so much cheaper. And I forgot all that, you see, when we come back to the UK. And it's quite funny when the scene where you see us pick the Bentley up. Yes. And then we pull in the petrol station and fill it up, and I think Hayley says, I think that should get us there. And then we have to pull in again. We got halfway home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I know Kim is like worked for all the main TV channels as well, and you went to National Film and Television School, which is highly regarded all around the world. But there's very few programs and films that feature the working class culture strongly that are actually made by people from a working class background. And I was quite shocked a while back when Asif Kapadia, who made Senna, then Amy, which won an Oscar, so a really big documentary filmmaker. I mean, documentary films have never been bigger than they have been for the last 10 years. Well, when he's on Desert Island Discs, which is a big deal for him, he spends quite a lot of time slagging off the way the British film industry works, saying it's completely dominated by Oxford and Cambridge and posh people. And it's like, to see a film that you've made, Kim, which isn't like that, is just tremendous.
Thank you. That's basically our raison d'etre. That's the stuff we try and do. And it's a very, very tough area to be in, because there's a big squeeze on documentaries, particularly feature documentary, and even bigger squeeze on theatrical distribution now. So it's getting tougher and tougher.
Yes.
And it's very hard to get working class audiences to get away from Netflix and go and sit in front of a big screen somewhere. I think it's all the more important that these films do get made. I have to actually, say thank you to Doc Society and BFI for this, because they're trusting us to do this stuff. As I said, I'm working on this trilogy. The next one is a film called The Local, which is based in Jacob's Well pub in Bradford, and I've done a year and a half filming the locals in that pub, and we get to find out what we think of Britain from the horse's mouth, basically, in there. That's what that film's all about. And so that was due out, I don't know, maybe end of next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
and
like
again,
a realistic...
and again, spaces that are disappearing. I mean, I think 2 of these pubs are disappearing a week. As Dene alluded to, working men's clubs are disappearing hand over fist.
Absolutely.
The first film, A Bunch of Amateurs, that whole kind of club scene, it happened to be a film club in that case, but that club scene or men in shed stuff, that stuff disappearing. And anywhere where working class people gather and are able to communicate, they just seem to be disappearing. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you could say this is policy to get rid of them, or it just is that they're not viable anymore, these spaces, and people have changed their habits. I don't know. I think it's somewhere probably in between the two.
I mean, there is an element of this when you watch this and you see Dene and the family on a fun fair, or having fish and chips or whatever, or even being in Benidorm with the British community out of there. Graham used the term earlier about there's a ghost element to it. This is a culture that's going.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it through this film. We're seeing it as happens.
That was also something I was really interested in when like, as I said at the beginning of the film, I was really wanting to try to get into Dene's head and kind of part of memory and all of that kind of space. And also one of the challenges as a filmmaker, and that was actually getting into Dene what he was really feeling about stuff. And it took me some time to realize I was really up against it with Dene, because this guy has been singing Agadoo for nearly 40 years. Yeah. He can turn on party face like that.
Yeah.
Whatever is going on in his life. And I had to find a way to get through that. And part of that was kind of, the whole kind of pineapple thing there, and that whole kind of metaphor of that that kind of metamorphosis, and that Dene couldn't escape this thing.
I wonder, Kim, whether Dene can answer this as well. One of the things that I think is so strong, Kim and Dene, is Dene's relationship with his mother. It reminded me actually of David Hockney's relationship with his mother, just in some way. Northern working class lads,
Yeah,
and the love for their mum. I mean, you do everything for your mum, Dene. I mean,
I
it's so moving watching this, you know.
Yeah, I tried to do. Mum and Dad, when Dad was alive, Dad's been dead now, what's 8 years now, and I promised my father that I would look after Mum when he died, and I have done up to now. You know, I've been there for her. I do everything for her really. Unfortunately, she's in hospital as we speak now. She's there in St James's. She's not very well.
Yeah.
But she's still plodding on. She's 91 now, and you know, she's doing well for her age. But yeah, I did promise my father that I would look after her. But I look at it this way: Mum and Dad used to look after me. I mean, they started me off in the business. You know, they didn't have a lot of money, but they bought me a PA system and a guitar and one thing and another, microphones, and so I could do the job I love to do. So you never forget that, and the way that they helped me. So, you know, and that love that I've had for my mum and dad all the way through my life, really. I don't think I've ever had a wrong word with them, really, you know. So that answers the question, I think, for me. It was the way I was brought up, and old-fashioned, I suppose, in a way. But yeah. I do try and look after mum.
Perhaps. Kim, your thoughts on that, because it seemed to me a really important. I mean, love on two levels. As Dene, you know, finds love anew with a new partner, and there's this constant love, you know, towards Dene's
that's
mother.
When I started the film, that's where I thought it was the film, and that's what's so interesting about making this type of film, and also what is kind of can throw some real curveballs at you when you're making this type of film is I thought Dene, you know, I just saw, as I just alluded to earlier, that Dene would, you know, head off to Skegness or to Blackpool or to Minehead or whatever, do his party night, and then come back to his modest apartment back in Blackpool at 3 a.m, and then look after his mum, you know, and that's where a pop star's life was at now, you know, and that I found kind of a really interesting kind of, you know, a kind of interesting kind of take on things. And then Hayley came along, kind of 6 months into the shooting, and at first I thought, oh, damn, this is taking the film off in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
But, you know, actually, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to the film, because when I spoke earlier, we're trying to make kind films, or films with hope in as well. And sometimes when you're on a kind of downward trajectory, which we all are when we're getting older, it's quite difficult to find that. And so when Hayley came along, and love came into Dene's life in that way, and also young children as well came into Dene's life. You know, I thought, well, that there is a way of kind of having some kind of, you know, hopeful outcome and loving outcome. It's really, in some ways, it is a love story.
Yeah.
It's a love story. It's also a road movie, of course, and that again is a great form of filmmaking. Road movies, both documentary versions and, of course, road movies that are within a creative film world. It's a great structure for a film.
It is, yeah. I had Little Miss Sunshine in my head for the
I can see that.
From the Benetton. You know, they're a very unlikely trio in that camper van. And you just hope the audience would warm to that unlikely trio, you know.
Yeah. I love the scene where we're on the scooters in Benidorm on the seafront.
And the three of you. It's fantastic.
And the conga plays. I love that scene.
Graham, because we're coming towards the close now. We never quite know when our time is up, but there may be another 3 minutes. If we get cut off, I'm going to say in advance, thank you so much for talking to us both tonight. But Graham, over to you for a question.
Well, apart from the fact I think Dene's a success story, he's been doing this for like at least 35, 40 years. Always in the limelight. That's success. That's not like failure. That's success. The second thing is that I think it's actually, although it's a funny film, I mean, any film that ends with the star inside a giant pineapple costume is a funny film. but it's also a really important film. It's like a great Ken Loach, except it's reality rather than fiction. I think it's a really important film, and I think in years to come, it'll be seen again and be seen to be an important film. It captures so much that's so important, as well as being an emotional story and a fun film. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a fantastic endorsement, I have to say.
That pineapple, was that your suggestion, Kim? It's an amazing moment to finish the film with. That song where you see what a good singer Dene is, but it also to be in a pineapple costume is kind of surreal at that point.
It kind of cutting against that beautiful ballad that he sings, that is what he used to sing as a 3-year-old, which was, I thought, I can't give Dene a big audience, I can't give him that crescendo at the end, but what I can do for him is show his audience that he can sing. He does have a voice. And yet we have to accept that he's trapped in the pineapple still.
It's like that ghost you said earlier.
Last comment here, Dene. You may be aware or not that at Leeds United, Agadoo plays for Leeds United, and as you may well be aware, I now sing a song that I never thought I'd be singing in my life, and I now am singing the Agadoo songs.
Agadoo to the left, to the right, and unfortunately they lost today against Villa.
I've just found out the score, so I'm doing remarkably well to be in a good mood tonight, considering my team has lost yet again.
I know, and Agadoo's about to get 1 match suspension because he's on 4 bookings now. So Agadoo kicks to the left and kicks to the right.
Kicks to the right, that's the boy. Yeah. Splendid. Well, thank you so much to Kim, and thank you so much to Dene. And look out for the film, as I say, coming to City Screen at York, as well as plenty of other places on the tour as well. I hope it goes really well. I think it's a fantastic film, this, and so does Graham. And we're so pleased to have talked to you this evening, both Dene and to Kim. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you around.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Graham.
That was very good. They were great.
They were. I've been watching it today, and it's a fantastic piece. It really is.
Oh, yeah, it's really skillfully put together.
You've been listening to the podcast Two Big Egos in a Small Car. Your hosts were Graham Chalmers and Charles Hutchinson. This was a Baltic sub-production.